any type of whatever your topic, whatever you like to do, you can find a podcast on it, and you can listen to people talk about it, or you can start your own. I think that's the cool thing about podcasting is anybody can do it, but you have it. Anybody can do it. Everybody can't be successful at it.
True.
Is what I'm trying to say. You have to have a structure. You have to have, and this is probably where Josh is probably saying, you have to have a format. You can't just be on here, just be like, well, let's see what's going on today. It has to kind of have a structure so people can follow and know what's going on. As far as the evolution, podcasting has come away. It just used to be all audio. Obviously, you've mastered the video and the audio part of it. Podcasts like I Am Athlete. I don't know if you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Love that. I love that. Yeah, they've done well. It's become a business, right? Mm-hmm. Even like Dave Chappelle, I saw he's getting it. So people are finding ways to monetize it, and I think that's been the part that has allowed it to grow.
Casa, make yourself at home, do your do. Welcome to my pad, this your lab, go create your move.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to 99 miles per hour with me, your host, Percy Garner. And I'm very excited for the show today. I got a close friend, but before we get to the guest, I do want to touch on a few things. One of the important things is I know I already did it on Instagram, but I'm going to congratulate her again. Congratulations, Bailey Wilson, on winning, I don't know what I want to call it, the Percy Garner Scholarship. And hopefully that helps you out and your journey in the college world. So the other thing I want to touch on is all the people who tune into this podcast on YouTube and do not subscribe. It's free. It's easy. You subscribe. If you don't like my content, then you can unsubscribe. It's real easy. Also, click the thumbs up because that will help the channel as well. Now, the people who make this podcast possible, they're great people over at Peterman Plumbing. Now, I gave you all the information that was stuck in my head last time, but I'm just going to make it easy for you. Call them if you need renovations, heating and cooling issues you got going on in your crib. Oh, my house. My bad. We're in Tuscarawas County. Your house. And also, if you need some renovations. Now, they're supporting this channel. I appreciate everybody there. They're a great group of people, and they're obviously a hometown business that you obviously do business with. So thank you for making this podcast possible, Peterman Plumbing and Heating. And now let's get to the guest. Oh, did I mention you guys should subscribe? All right, cool. Let's get to the guest. So this person I spent a lot of time with in my later teen years and when I became a young adult. We went through a lot of difficult times as well together. And I mean, not like tragedy, but I mean, sometimes thinking you're going to die at 5 a.m. working out with a strength coach yelling in your face. Also, this person was my roommate in college. Spent a lot of time together, a lot of laughs. And I really admire this dude for what he's doing right now. So I thought it was fitting to get him on the podcast and talk about what he's doing in his career and everything. So the title is Managing Editor at CCG. We're going to get into what he does, but let's welcome him to the show. And I'm going to say your government name because I know people ain't heard that in Tuscarawas County. I'd like to welcome Rayondon Kennedy to the show, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Purse, man. Thank you for having me on, and thank you for using my government name. It's the one and only Rayondon. I take pride in that.
Yeah, you should, yeah. Man. But how you doing, man? How's everything been going?
Everything's been going good, man. I'm here in Baltimore. I just bought a house with my wife. I can't complain, man. I'm blessed and highly favored.
Hey, I like it. Clark Sisters. That's my song. We might have to play. No, we can't. DMC strike. We can't play that. But man, I'm happy for you, man. Married and now moving into your new home. I mean, it's got to be exciting. And we might touch on that a little bit. Mm-hmm. I know you are blessed in more than one way. And I got to meet and spend time with Imani, and you guys got something beautiful going on. So congratulations for that. Not everybody's lucky as we are. to find love. Josh, you're included in this too. Like Steph's all right, I guess. No, but I just want to, talk about that. How is that? We're going to combine some things I want to talk about. So you got the new home and it's in Baltimore. Like I spent a little bit of time in Baltimore, but not enough to really get, a temperature of how the culture is there. All I really know is they were in the news a few years ago for, I guess, the city of Baltimore getting hacked. That's all I know. What's it like living in Baltimore, man?
In Baltimore, well, as you know, Purse, I'm from Chicago, so I've always been kind of a city guy. And when I first moved out here, I had the opportunity to join the CCG team. When I first moved out here, everything was like compared to Chicago, and it was like, Baltimore's cool, but it ain't Chicago. Chicago is huge. You gotta travel long distances. Baltimore is a big city. It's kind of like Ball State, right? Ball State is a big major college, but it's small compared to like everything else. And so that's kind of how Baltimore is compared to like Philly, which is, 90 minutes up the street, and DC, which is like 45 minutes up the road. It's like the little brother town. Kind of it's more fitting because it's kind of like Ball State of cities.
Got you. And that's what we're used to. I know I got lost my first day going to classes at Ball State because it was a little bit bigger than I thought it was. But, then if you go to, schools like Illinois and Ohio State, and then you're like, all right, Ball State's small.
All right, yeah. We had it lucky. We could walk.
Exactly. Man, so, you're not a stranger to podcasts. So, obviously I want to dive in deeper and talk about podcasts later because I know it's a 2020 phenomenon. They were around before 2020, but it just seemed everybody stuck in the house. Everybody and their mom started to do a podcast, and I think it's great, So,
absolutely.
So, and yours is called High Tech Sunday, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, I've listened to a couple episodes shortly, and I try to get a gist of what you guys are doing over there. But just talk about the time you've had doing that podcast because you're more of the Josh, right? You're not in front of the camera. You produce it. So explain how you do that one.
Well, I'm gonna humbly say I could do both. Like I think it's a really good blessing to be able to sit in front of the camera and hold conversations and keep the topic going. You do a wonderful job of that, person. But it's like you're the same person on this podcast that you are in person, which is why your podcast is really entertaining. Because I've been following you since you started as well.
So nice. You're so nice.
I got caught up.
Yeah, I'm paying him under the table to say these things. No.
I'm really not. But
no, but just high tech podcasts. I know it's different than 99 miles per hour, and just explain what you kind of do on that podcast.
So, High Tech Sunday is a podcast we started at the top of the pandemic. We are actually the 7th. What was that? Yesterday. The 7th is our 1-year anniversary from our first episode. So we're about 35, 36 episodes in.
Nice.
But what we do on that podcast is we invite S.T.E.M leaders, and S.T.E.M stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, to come on and talk about their passions, talk about who they are, what they do, with the ultimate goal of kind of educating our audience on whatever STEM topic that they have. But the thing about High Tech Sunday that makes it unique is that we incorporate the spirituality. So one of the things that we saw with a lot of our alumni, our partners, is that people who are doing great things have a drive, a passion for what they do. Like they're not just waking up, just doing it,
not
just
going through
because they
the
had
motions.
an idea.
Yeah.
Huh?
They ain't going through the motions.
Exactly. Like they really are invested. They're really invested in helping the community. They're really invested in advancing their careers, but the common denominator is the spirituality. And so no matter, what their faith is, one thing we say is we're not looking for scholars, theologists or saints, but we're not, let's say, looking for atheists either, but like we just look for that middle ground because our audience is everybody in between. And so we really want them to share that perspective and share that passion for people to kind of learn more about them. What I try to do with that show, everybody on there is a leader. Everybody has like a 2-page bio. What I want to do on the show is pull out of them what you can't Google, right? Okay. So you can look up all these people. You can look up the CEO, the vice presidents of GM, or some of the other people that we've had on there, and you can see their bio. But I want to know what makes them tick. What's their drive? How's their family life? and ultimately, why do they do what they do?
I like that. So I guess that is a similarity that we have. So I try to bring on community leaders, not, such as big as yours with the CEOs and stuff of these, Fortune 500 companies. But, I started in a way where, I like to inspire the audience who, maybe locally they're like, oh man, that guy, CEO of this big company locally, like that's amazing. He must wake up and just piss excellence. No, I'm just but get them on here, get them talking, and realize, look, they're human. They go through struggles. They it may not seem like that because they're running this company and they're wealthy, but they're humans just like us, and they go through a lot of the stuff we do. And it's good to get them to share some of that stuff because it can encourage other people to be like, all right, this dude isn't Superman. He has 24 hours just like I do, and he sleeps 8 of it. So, I need to, look at myself and figure it out. So I just try to do that. And, I mix in some sports every once in a while too. So, but I admire that. I'm going to be listening to yours, and I know you guys are going to be looking into doing video as much, because I know you're on YouTube now and all the podcast platforms, but you're going to be looking into adding video. So I'm really, looking to hopefully we get the CEO mug on the screen. But if not, I want to get introduced to some of your coworkers that do the host of the podcast. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, first you were always welcome, man. You want to come on the show?
Oh snap! Well, I gotta see what it's about. Like you did mine, how you scouted this one out. I gotta see what yours is about first, in case I need to prep and read a book or something before I come on yours. Because you say you got CEOs and stuff, so I want to make sure I sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to transition into, talking about the company behind the podcast, and that's CCG. And explain to me what that is again, because I know we talked about STEM, and I feel like I might be grouped into that STEM because I love technology. Yeah. So, talk about what CCG is.
All right. So CCG has been around for 45, 46. CCG is older than us first. And so let me start at the beginning and try to not get us in the bushes. So CCG stands for Career Communications Group. My boss, Tyrone Taborn, started this company. Let's say the roots of this company started when he was at Cornell. He had a newspaper there, and it was called Umaja Sasa. Are you guys getting that feedback?
A little bit, but it's good.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, we hear you clearly.
So he started this company, and the paper at Cornell was called Umaja Sasa. Now, Umaja Sasa is Swahili for unity now. And so what his goal with that paper, and ultimately with the magazines that we publish, which I'll tell you about in a minute, is to promote minorities in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And for the last 45 years, we've been the voice of the Black, Hispanic, and female community in STEM. Because much like most things with minorities, especially in the STEM field, we are very underrepresented when it comes to the amount of engineers that are working for companies, the amount of technologists, the amount of people of color holding executive positions. And so ultimately, we became the voice of that community. We published 3 magazines that I manage. I'm the managing editor, so everything kind of starts and ends with me and on that front. But the 3 magazines are U.S. Black Engineer. And again, that U.S. is from that Umaja Sasa.
Not United States. Not United States.
Not United States.
Oh, quick question. Are these, So I just got a free Apple News Plus subscription because, hopefully my son ain't listening, but I bought him an iPad for his birthday coming up. So, and I know he ain't going to use the subscription, so I'm using it. And because I know there's magazines on there. Would I be able to find it on there? If for the digital people.
It's on Issue, and I feel like I should know if you can get it because Issue distributes it to a bunch of platforms. So I think so first, but don't quote me if I'm wrong. Yeah. But ISSUU.com is it's our platform that we use for digital.
Awesome. That's what's up.
And if I don't hurt me if I'm wrong. I feel like I should know exactly where that magazine is.
Well, let's be honest. There's so many outlets, so many platforms to do things. It's kind of crazy to keep up. Like, I'm glad that we have a system that automatically pushes this podcast to every platform. We don't have to go, all right, we gotta upload it here. We gotta upload it here. That would be
that's the early days of podcasting.
Yeah.
And I remember some of those.
Yeah. So I'm kind of late adopter to podcasts. I started on some regular ones, but now I'm trying to, I love video still though. So, I consume a lot of YouTube. So, but I'm glad you're able to explain CCG. And I know, out of our group, that lived in Windermere, a lot of us are doing some great things, and I had Brandon on the show already, and Dominique was supposed to be coming on, but I don't know what's going on, but we'll make the connection. But for me, I just want to know, you talked about how it started, and obviously it's a great company, great story on how it started. But for you, like, what made you? Was it just how it started and the passion behind it, or was there something else that kind of attracted you and you go, I want to work for this company?
So one is definitely the mission. The mission gets you through so much because we're a small company, but we have a very large impact. And when you have people always mistake our company for being bigger than it is. And so having that passion, having that love for the mission gets you through a lot. How I ended up here, first, as you know, when you play football in college, you have a very demanding summer, a very demanding schedule. It doesn't really allow for internships or kind of job experience. And so I had a really good relationship with my now boss, Tyrone Taborn. And when I graduated, I just wanted to get my feet wet, like in the business world. And so he allowed me to come on an internship with him over the summer. And by the time the summer ended, he asked, if I wanted to stay on and have a full-time position. And so since June 5th of 2012, I've been here at CCG. And I've kind of just grown and graduated through different positions, and I've learned a lot. But yeah.
I mean, that's the best way. I mean, obviously, the way we play sports, you start at the bottom per se, and you kind of make your way up, and you become a starter, and then you get trusted with more responsibilities. The same way in the business world. So that's good to see. It's showing people, maybe young people who may be watching that, you can't be entitled. You got to work your way up, and that's just how it is. And I took a tour of my new high school, and it made me just like, dang, man, I wish I would have went to high school and with this thing, because my school was all old moldy, but this one is just, and I don't want to sound all negative, but they just don't know how good they have it, with these school and having phones. And, the only thing I did notice is they still got TI 84s. I'm like, dang, shouldn't they be on like TI 150s right now? Like
200?
Yeah. Like, what are we doing?
Hey, let me tell you, that comment that you just made makes you an old person. Back in my day, we didn't have.
Yeah, we had to walk upstairs and, we had one entrance to the cafeteria, and you had pizza or fries is what you can eat.
That's it.
Now the cafeteria looks like Ball State, where you got all these selections, and I'm like, what the heck is this?
And that's a high school?
Yeah. Just built it. They're doing all this technology stuff. They got the roofs are slanted so the natural light can come in, and they got new air coming in. I think 6 times an hour they got fresh air coming in. I'm like, man, what the heck?
Air?
Yeah, new air, not new air.
Dang,
new air.
What were they doing to y'all?
Oh, we was sweating,
Y'all got recycled.
Exactly.
That exhale.
I mean, you can't relate, because I'm assuming Mount Carmel was a very prestigious high school, and was it all boys?
Still is. Yes.
Oh yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to say was. It still is a very prestigious high school, and you've had some famous people go there. So I assume it wasn't a whenever our building was in the 1900s. I'm assuming it was a nice newer building. It's probably old now though.
No, first that building was so old.
Really?
When we got there, yeah. I'm trying to remember. I don't even think we had air conditioner at the time. I think we had like the window units. Before I left, they did like redo like the gym and kind of like the rec facility. So I had like a senior year with those.
Okay.
But other than that, like it was just like kind of like the old buildings. And now, just like what you were saying, when I go by there, man, they got a football field on the side of the building. They got new facilities, new buildings connecting. I think it's like a couple of buildings now. It's a campus now, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah, when they start using that word, that's how you know. Donovan McNabb didn't get no money back?
Yeah, Donovan, I mean, he's definitely a big supporter. Simeon Rice, Antoine Walker. We had, we had a couple.
Rayondon Kennedy, No, that's what's up. That's what's up. But that's good to hear. Like, so, and I know you already talked about what you guys do in the STEM market. I don't even know if my lingo was correct, but
you're right. STEM field.
STEM field. Okay. And make sure I have this right. That is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. You got it. Hey, so that's my field. I'm about to start putting that. I'm gonna put that on my LinkedIn profile. Yeah, I'm a STEM. I'm a STEM. I'm in the STEM field. But now, I just want to ask a question. I don't even know if it's the right question, but I guess you touched on it. How you guys, work with minorities and try to, I guess, make it more appealing or easier to get into the STEM field. What currently, right now, I know you guys have had a big impact, like you said, but currently, right now, what is it like for a minority, a woman, a person of color to get into those fields? I'm assuming it's difficult, but you guys have made it better. Absolutely. So what we do, it's just like being a minority and anything else. The system wasn't built for us. And so you constantly have to overcome. You constantly have to look for opportunities. And so what we do is we work with different companies, organizations to create those opportunities. And so the magazine is a good way because, telling these stories is good for young people. Representation matters. And I know people have heard this a lot, but it's one thing to hear about, being an astronaut. And it's another thing to see a Black astronaut going up. Like there was I can't remember the name of the shuttle, but the mission that just went up, there was a Black astronaut, and we talked about him, highlighted. But it's a different impact. You never know what kid is sitting there watching that flight take off and seeing that Black astronaut go up and be like, yo, I want to do that. That's just like when you see Michael Jordan or you see LeBron James, like you go, I want to do that. Like representation matters. And so that's what our books do. And so I mentioned U.S. Black Engineer, but we also have Hispanic Engineer, and then we also have the Women of Color magazine, as well as conferences. And so that's kind of our big events of the year. We have a Women of Color STEM conference that takes place in Detroit outside of the pandemic. It's usually live. And then we also have what we call our Bay STEM conference, which takes place in February. And so with those two events, we basically call it the Academy Awards, but it's a 3-day event where companies come. We have huge career fairs for college students who are looking for internships. We have pre-college programs where local schools send their students to kind of hear from people in the STEM fields. They hear from scientists, they hear from mathematicians, engineers. They build model planes and learn how airplanes' wings work with aerodynamics and all kinds of cool things. Anything we do to try to make it fun. One of the programs that we do, actually I'm wearing a t-shirt for it, we call it the Technology Awareness Program, our TAP program. And basically what our goal is to just expose kids to different STEM careers. And Purse, I don't know, you're a gamer. You might even be a bigger gamer than I am. But probably. Did you know that the in-home video game system was made possible by a Black man named Jerry Lawson? His model paved the way for the Atari system. So the story has it, he worked for this company called Fairchild, and basically he was creating a cartridge-based TV tuner to kind of change the color on TV back then when it was getting started. That cartridge-based system, it was basically the model that Atari used. And so Jerry Lawson was this Black, he was like 6'6" from what they say. He passed away. He was like 6'6", 330. But like this big Black man was the cause or the catalyst for our in-home video game system. Otherwise, you were still going to the arcades and everything. And so I always like to tell that story when I'm talking to kids, because we as African Americans and even Hispanics are the biggest consumers of video games. And the stat may have changed now, but a couple years ago, we were less than 3% of the developers. And so you mean to tell me we're the biggest consumers and we're not in there creating. And part of that is just kids don't know. If they knew a Black man, they would be more interested. Part of it is just the digital divide, not having access to this kind of information, which is one thing that we're committed to trying to help close and bridge that gap and make sure that our young people have the same opportunities and the same exposure to technology. I mean, you would assume that everybody has access to a computer in their house, which is for the most part true. But
for if you have 2 or 3 kids, especially, and this has been a real issue with the pandemic. If you got 2 or 3 kids at home and you only got one computer, then, somebody's losing out.
Yeah.
And so this divide is just getting bigger and bigger. But just having that interest and just knowing that, you could enter these fields and kind of make a difference and create the games that you are playing or create the cars that you're driving or any of this stuff, the firewalls, the coding, cybersecurity is a big area. I mean, I could touch on a lot of different things that kind of go off in different weeds, but we're all about creating opportunities. So that's what CCG is in a large nutshell.
That's what's up, though. I mean, yeah. I never, would imagine that a 6'6", 330 pound black man, was the cause of video games. What I, now I play on a computer, so I don't play on a console. But
but even still, all that was made possible.
That's crazy.
And then a cool story that I read, because I really like, Jerry Lawson interviewed Steve Jobs and Wozniak. They came to internship, and even you call him an idiot, or you could just say like his intellect was so far, he wasn't impressed and like turned him away. And like they went off and created Microsoft, but it was like, did he just miss an opportunity, or was he just not impressed with these two and was just like, get out of here?
Well, but also
they say he was a genius. So I aim for the latter.
Well, also, I mean, I just got done working for Xerox, and Steve Jobs, and then basically Staples, Xerox just handed Steve Jobs like the whole keyboard interface and said, "Hey, here you go." Yeah, we don't think it's people aren't going to want to do this. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's just crazy when you hear those type of stories, man. It's nuts. But now I want to get back to podcasting because that's what we're doing right now. So sure. Like for you said you've just had your 1-year anniversary, and for podcasting, people, it's still new to some people. Obviously it's taken off in 2020. I was at, Dover Rotary meeting, and one of the people in there, I said, "Hey, my podcast is he goes, once it go live?" I was like 7 a.m. or whatever. He goes, "Oh, I won't be up that early." I'm like, "No." I'm like, "No, it's there forever." Like, it's going to be there. You don't have to watch it like live, but it's just funny. People are learning, and, I've had people out in the street that I would never expect to listen to a podcast. They may be 70 years old, and they're just like, "Hey, Persa, I enjoy listening to that one episode." I'm like, "Oh, wow, that's cool." And of course, I would love to grow and get a lot of subscribers and all that, but, there's other types of content I can make if I really want to do that. But for me, I like, trying to provide some value for, listeners around the area or maybe even nationally. And we've got a podcast already blowing up on, on this Get Level network. But it's to me, there's still a lot of room to go, and there's still a lot of advancements to make, and seeing what the best format is, or what the best, I guess, strategy is to do a podcast. And there's all different types of podcasts, but for me, I know how I see podcasts, but how do you see it? Where do you think it is in its state right now?
I think podcasts, I've always been a big consumer of podcasts. Before podcasting was cool.
Was you on the Zoom, listening to your podcast on the Zoom? No, I'm checking.
I did.
Ray was the only person that had a Zoom in college. I'm
And I swear I thought that was going to be y'all got your iPad. Y'all got your iPod. Let's see how long that lasts.
God.
But yeah, man, the evolution of podcasting has come a long way. I listen to podcasts while I'm working out. I get on a treadmill, I turn it on while I'm doing some yard work. But podcasting has come a long way. And if you look at when it started, it was really just, people picking up, talking about whatever they want to talk about. Like any type of, whatever your topic, whatever you like to do, you can find a podcast on it. And you can listen to people talk about it, or you can start your own. I think that's the cool thing about podcasting is anybody can do it, but anybody can do it. Everybody can't be successful at it.
True.
Is what I'm trying to say. You have to have a structure. You have to have, and this is probably where Josh is probably saying, you have to have a format. You can't just be on here, just be like, well, let's see what's going on today. It has to kind of have a structure so people can follow and know what's going on. As far as the evolution, podcasting has come away. It just used to be all audio. Obviously, you've mastered the video and the audio part of it. Podcasts like I Am Athlete. I don't know if you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Love that. I love that. Yeah, they've done well. It's become a business, right? Mm-hmm. Even like Dave Chappelle, I saw he's getting it. So people are finding ways to monetize it, and I think that's been the part that has allowed it to grow. Because now, before it was just people just jumping, in their basement, pulling up a microphone, talking. But now, when you start adding these sponsors to it, and being able to kind of monetize the content that you're creating, I think now people are starting to see opportunities. Because if you're somebody that people want to listen to, a celebrity, a comedian, like I saw Dave Chappelle, and I just had to listen to it. Like, what's he got?
Of course.
And I think it's so cool, and so it's come a long way. I think it's going to continue to grow. Yeah, man, it's just kind of a fun time to be around technology and what's going on.
I'm glad that Josh kicked me in my butt and made me start this. Because I've enjoyed doing this and I don't see it stopping until Josh is like, all right, whatever, dude. Your podcast is washed. But I appreciate, you coming, speaking with us, sharing about CCG and your career and the stuff that you guys are doing in the STEM field. But before you go, I kind of want to talk about, because, it's big, very important to me, and, and that's community involvement. So, like, being in a place like Baltimore, is that something that you've kind of championed and taken on? Do you guys do that as a company? How do you guys get involved in the community there?
Community involved. So again, this TAP program is really part of our nonprofit organization, which is what we call S.T.E.M. We have a lot of youth programs, a lot of things that we do to, again, further that mission of just exposing young people to STEM careers. And one of the things that we have coming up, as well as the programs that we've done in the past that I talked about already, but we have a really cool digital platform launching at the end of the summer called STEM City USA. And what we try to do with this is kind of create what we call a DTX experience, which is what we call a digital twin experience, where you can do online the kind of the same thing you would do live. And so you have access to curriculum. We partner with a lot of big organizations that are going to be offering content, offering their services, offering their executives to come on and put on seminars. Content like this. High Tech Sunday is actually going to be moved over to STEM City once it launches. And so basically, if you're a young person and you're looking for opportunity in STEM, if you're a parent and you just want your kids to kind of, be exposed to some STEM opportunities, check out STEM City USA at the end of the summer. I mean, there's going to be curriculum on video game development. There's going to be opportunities where, I'm just going to throw a random company. I'm not saying that they're going to be on it, but say Apple or IBM, they want to send their executive to do a tutoring session or to just talk about different things. Because, engineers are smart, man. Physics, calculus, all that. A little bit. They can do those type of sessions, and you can have your kid come on and just kind of, learn a topic or improve their skills in different areas. There's going to be different like live entertainment, which is kind of a cool thing that we're doing, where we're partnering with different entertainment groups and can kind of live stream in a performance that they're doing. It's a lot. I know I'm forgetting something. I know I'm forgetting some things, but
like a person just won a Grammy or something. You can't thank everybody. You can't think of it.
Well, I mean, and that's the cool thing, man. We're trying to do so much with it, and this lockdown, this pandemic, kind of created the opportunity. Because now people are they're used to using technology now. And what I mean by that is a year ago, if we called a conference call, everybody would have called in. Nobody would have been on video or doing anything like that. But now people are used to engaging. The cameras are always up, like we're doing now, having this conversation. Like we're there. You're in Ohio, I'm in Baltimore, and we're still having this conversation, but it feels natural.
Yep.
And that's usually been kind of like a young person, like young people were using the FaceTime on the phones now. But now my grandma's calling me on video chat, like in Facebook, and like she's very engaged. But that's because the atmosphere of the world kind of forced this upon us. And so we saw that opening and saw that we have a lot of content. We have 40 plus years of content that we can share. And you know, we have the partnerships, we have the people who can make a difference. And so all we're doing is really just offering a platform for people to do that and for you to come and kind of grab that content and hopefully make this world a better place.
That's what's up. I mean, for me, content is king, and I'm trying to make as much. And I got some stuff that I want to be doing moving forward. But most importantly, man, I appreciate you coming. You know, I guess you didn't come here, but I appreciate you joining the call and coming on the show and just sharing some things that you're doing in your career. And hopefully, you know, someone it sparks something in somebody, and they can choose to you know make an impact in their own way, locally, anywhere. So. For me, I'm very grateful for you. You know, obviously, one of my weaknesses is always staying in contact with my homies, but that's always on my New Year's resolution. But we know how those go. But again, thank you. Is there anything else you want to say? You know, we're gonna have your podcast, the link to your podcast in the description. Mm-hmm. Would you want us to have the YouTube link or the?
Yeah. Do the YouTube. Do the YouTube thing.
YouTube. Okay. We'll do the YouTube.
No, if you want to subscribe, if you want to check out any of our content, I mean, we have a bunch of websites, but if you want to check out any of the magazines, we have usblackengineer.com. We have womenofcolor.online. I know it sounds weird, but it's www.womenofcolor.online. And then we have hispanicengineer.com. And so you visit any of those, you can check out any articles. We keep them up to date. We always have news, promotions, scholarship opportunities, anything that you need. Feel free. And if you want to reach out to me, you can hit me up on my email, which is rkennedy@ccgmag.com. I'm always looking to help. I'm always looking to offer any assistance that I can. Also, almost forgot first. If you have young people, we have a career day, a virtual career day coming up on Zoom this Saturday and the second Saturday of every month, where we have different STEM leaders come on and just talk about the career, introduce young people to the careers that they do. And so this week it's going to be a pilot who flies or flew in the military. And you can find more information at www.fullstemahead.us. fullstemahead.us.
All right, and we'll try to get all these links in the description. So we'll try to get them all there.
Forward you.
It's all forward them to me, and then we can just tag them down there. But go ahead.
And then last person, if you don't mind, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on. It is always a pleasure. It's always fun. It's always laughs. No matter how long we go apart when I was speaking, every time it's like, we never left. And so I think that's one of the coolest things about you as a person. It's very, very easy to be friends with you. So I appreciate that. And thank you for having me on.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's the same for you, man. Positive attitudes against positive attitudes, that's all. I hope Brandon watches this, but I appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you next Tuesday. But before we end this, I'm gonna say it one more time. Subscribe. I'm trying to get on that dogs level. They already got 1,000 subscribers. I'm trying to get up there. So, I think we're at 270 right now, and still like 70% of you guys aren't subscribed that watch it. So, I would appreciate it if you would hit that big old red square. Just hit it. It's real easy.
Just hit the button. First, I'm going to have to come start knocking on doors for you, man. Y'all subscribe?
Oh, man. Well, I appreciate you, Ray. I appreciate everybody who's tuning in right now, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Peace. It feels like Casablanca. Shouting, you my little mama. I got a crib out of water. Say me casa su casa. It feels like